Hello, my name is Lawrence, and in today's video we're going to be shooting Portra 800 at night. That's hard to say. Portra 800 at night. This was my first ever time shooting film at night, and it was a lot harder than I thought. Exposing on film is particularly hard because obviously you can't see what you're doing. You just have to hope that your exposures are correct. It's the first time I've ever shot Portra 800 as well as shooting at night on film, and I have to say I love it. I can't say I noticed too much of a difference between Portra 400 and 800, mostly because of the kind of photos I was taking. I've never taken on 400, so I don't really have anything to compare, but it's a very nice film stock, and it's one that I wish was a lot cheaper. I only shot one roll because it's stupidly expensive, but I thought as a once-off I might as well try it and just make a video about it as well. Some of these pictures are not actually taken at night because I had the roll of Portra 800 on me and I didn't have any other film, and the light was just really nice that night, so I took a few photos at golden hour just because I couldn't really help myself. So I think I've talked for long enough now. I think it's time just to roll the footage. Just sit back, relax, enjoy the photos. Now, it was at this point I realised if I kept going this way then I was going to use the whole roll of film and I wouldn't have any left to shoot at night. So I decided to call it a day there, and later that night I went back out and started shooting at night. So as you can see, I shot most of the photos in this park that's quite nearby. I've never really shot any photos there, so it was weird shooting there for the first time at night. I'm not gonna lie, it was a wee bit creepy. The park seems to be full of foxes, so there was quite a few times I'd hear foxes jumping out or running away from me, and it gave me a bit of a heart attack. So I decided to leave that location and take a walk up to a secondary school that's just up the road from the park. And it's not a particularly nice looking building, but it's a very industrial looking building, and in my opinion it made for some really nice looking photos. So after getting my photos back, I realised that I messed up quite a few exposures. In pictures like this one of the swings, you can see it's incredibly underexposed, and to get any kind of detail out of it, you have to introduce a lot of grain into the photo, which personally I think suits the photo quite well. It does give the photo quite an eerie, creepy vibe to it. So technically it's not very good, but I think it worked out not too bad. However, there are some shots that I am very happy with. For example, the one of the stars shooting through the trees. I did not expect that shot to actually turn out as well as it did, and I'm really happy with the way it worked out. When I was looking at it, obviously I wasn't really able to see much detail. I could just see the stars, and I was really happy when I saw how nicely the colour of the leaves turned out. I didn't expect there to be much colour at all, and that's one thing I'm really surprised about what managed to come out in these photos. Is even though there was not a lot of light, it still managed to retain these beautiful colours, and I think that's something that you wouldn't really be able to get on digital. That's probably not true, and there'll be someone out there that will happily contradict me, but as someone who shot a lot of nighttime photos on digital, I haven't really seen colours come out this well in a situation where there's not much light. This is another image. I'm quite pleased how it turned out. It's quite different to how I usually shoot. I don't tend to shoot things straight on like this in such a graphic way. It's a very simplistic composition, but I just love the way those greens in the inside of the building contrast the blues outside. It just, the colour of portra, you can't beat it. And also like this one, probably not as good technically of a photo, but it's just got such a nice warm atmosphere. I more like the way the photograph makes me feel rather than the photograph itself, which sounds very pretentious, but I'm running a film photography channel, so you have to be a bit pretentious. So will I be shooting Portra 800 again? Probably, but not anytime soon because I don't really have the money to fund that at the moment. If I'm doing night photography again, I think I'll probably just stick to Portra 400 and just expose for that extra stop. But I definitely want to try shooting film at night again because I had a lot of fun doing it. But I definitely know what not to do when shooting film now. In future, I'm going to try and avoid shooting in places where there's no light source whatsoever. I think it's much nicer to shoot scenes where there's a little bit of artificial light, so you get that nice contrast of the dark skies and the really dark surroundings against the slightly lit part of the scene. If that makes any sense, but I think that's definitely the way to go when shooting night photography. But yeah, this video is probably a little bit shorter than I meant it to be, but I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, share it with people, all those nice YouTube things. And also thank you very much for staying to the end of the video. It means a lot if anyone's still here. So yeah, goodbye.